15. Differential equations. For credits, obviously the summer term, which runs about 12 weeks, so May 19th to August 18th is the term date. Our final exam will be on the last meeting, which is August 14th. Now, this is what's odd. The college prerequisites for this course is Calc 2. Considering this is the 4th course in the calculus sequence, that's kind of odd. We will need some Calc 3, specifically partial derivatives. I think that's all we need from Calc 3. You also need linear algebra. Again, why it's not a prereq, I don't know. We will be doing matrices, and we will be doing eigenvalues, which are from linear algebra. So I guess I'll just discuss those. I actually forgot to check. I think it's still in this room. I don't think they changed it. Tuesday, Thursday, 1 to 15, and there will be a 10-minute break at some point in each class. All right, so my name is James Alker, standard Mercer email address. However, the best way to get in contact with me is through Microsoft Teams. I recommend you guys download Microsoft Teams on your phone. Then it can be treated like a text message and phone. You can call, you make calls on it, you can send direct messages, I get alerts. And all this without having to give away my number. Just give away my wife's phone number just to get it straight. Whenever you contact me, make sure you include course and section. I do attempt to respond within 2 business days. The semester business days, Monday through Thursday. Not guaranteed Friday. Right. If you don't hear from me in that time frame, just send me another message. And 1 of 2 things happened, I just forgot. Or just lost. Floating around. I have a lot of messages floating in the void. If you do email me, do so only from your school account, from the Mercer account. So I earned a Bachelor's of Science in Physics with a minor in Astronomy and a Bachelor's of Arts in Mathematics in 2013 from Rowan University, and then went on and earned my Master's in Mathematics in 2015, also from Rowan. Right after that, I became a professional. However, I have been doing this long before that, way back in high school. In other words, I'm old and I've been doing this for a long time. Interested in all the applications of mathematics. Obviously, the primary interest was physics. However, recently I'm picking up finance. It's a big interest. Like, I'm even looking at going for an MSA, MSF. Master of Science in Accounting and Finance. Dual program. Free time, reading, watching YouTube, playing video games. Now it's obviously Oblivion Remastered, because that shadow dropped last month. And I've been hooked on that since. I already have 200 hours in it. Through 4 characters. Chance to earn some brownie points. You 2 are excluded. And 2 of you in here are taking me for Calc 3 as well, so you're masochists. You see me every single day, Monday through Thursday. Who recognizes that number? 1 plus 5 over 2. And again, you 2 are excluded. number should have been studied in Calc 2. Who studied the Fibonacci sequence? Oh dear. Oh dear. That definitely should have been covered in Calc 2. That makes me sad. Let's see if you remember, because I think you gave me the answer yesterday. It's the golden ratio. It's the limit of subsequent Fibonacci. Take Fn plus 1 over Fn, that limit as n goes to infinity is the golden ratio, which is the most occurring number in the universe. And ultra brown points again to you're excluded if you recognize this equation. This I wouldn't expect you to know unless you're a nerd. Einstein field equations from general relativity. That's 16 equations. The G, both G's and the T are what are called tensors, which are matrices. Schedule an appointment, go into that link. This brings you to the accounting page. You just click a day. I do require 24-hour notice for appointments. Pick a time. Fill out some information, and then decide if you want to do in person or virtually. And then briefly describe what you want to discuss so I can prepare for the meeting. And then submit. Once you schedule the event, you'll get an email confirmation. If you choose virtual, you'll get a second email once I set up the link. Also, if you do not use your Mercer student email account, the appointment will be canceled. And I do require an appointment. I'm not rushing to get on campus. I didn't update that. No dear. Right now. Ah, no, but we're doing that again, aren't we? Textbook we're using Elementary Differential Equations by William Trench. It is an open resource. So you just click on that link, it'll take you to the books website. I believe there's also an option to order the physical copy, if you so desire. Blackboard, Office 365, every student has access to an Office account. You're going to need a separate composition notebook. This is going to be for the homeworks. There is no online homework for this textbook. So we're just going to be using composition notebook and do some textbook problems. A calculator, again, I didn't even update this in this course. Calculator, I personally recommend the TI Inspire CX2 CAS. That's what I use. We will be using Wolfram. And for virtual appointments, you need a microphone and a webcam. So, differential equations. You may have briefly touched on some real basic differential equations in Calc 1 and maybe Calc 2. A differential equation is essentially just an equation that involves unknown variables and their derivatives. In fact, just about everything is modeled with a differential equation. So this is a very important course for the STEM fields. We will, while it's called differential equations, at a lot of schools it's actually ordinary differential equations. And should even go further than that, linear ordinary differential equations is what we study for the most part. We will look at first order, both linear and nonlinear, because those are very easy to solve. But after that point, everything's going to be linear. And there would be ordinary differentials. After this course would then be partial differential equations. Again, to be more precise and say it's linear partial differential equations. And then after that would be non-linear differential equations. That is a grad topic because they suck to solve. In fact, for the most part, non-linear can only be solved numerically. It needs coding. We'll start with, obviously, a brief discussion on what a differential equation even is. We'll look at some definition examples, then move on to first order differential equations, then look at linear differential equations, second order and higher. Look at systems of first order linear differential equations. That is where linear algebra comes in. And we'll end by looking at a different way of solving initial value problems using Laplace transforms. And Laplace transforms can also be used for systems, but I don't think I covered it. Link to all the academic policies, attendance policies there as well. Be familiar with it. In short, attendance is expected at every meeting. You're expected to arrive on time and stay throughout the entire duration. I'm also required to collect attendance and report it. So, every meeting, there is a QR code on the slides, both top corners there, as well as on the very first slide, a big one. And so you'll be expected to scan that and fill out the brief form. That is how to collect attendance. Late submissions will not be accepted without prior authorization. You'll need to contact me prior to the due date to receive authorization. Right, generally speaking, that would be a really good reason. If you have to miss an exam due to circumstances beyond your control, you'll need to reach out to me as soon as possible, preferably before the actual exam itself, and make arrangements to make it up. Documentation will be required for that. And the decision on whether to provide makeup is my sole discretion. There are no retakes. You bomb the first exam, well, you're just going to have to live with it. Electronics policy. All electronics need to be shut off and put away during the entire duration of the meeting. Cell phones, put them on silent. A relatively new statement that had to be added. Statement on generative AI. We're in a new age. Age of generative AI. Thankfully, not true AI yet. That'll come in another probably 10 years. And then we're screwed. Can be used as a tool to support learning. Right. So, you need a little clarification on a topic, you can go to AI for that. Got your test back, you want to plug in one of your questions and answers into ChatGPT to find out where you went wrong, that is perfectly acceptable. You need help generating an idea for an assignment or a project, that is acceptable. And if you're going to do that, generally you should probably document that you used AI to help you come up with the idea. However, all of the work submitted must be your own and not the work of AI. You may have some assignments where I'm going to require you to actually put in a problem to AI and analyze the solution. See if the solution is correct. If not, what mistakes did it make? Why did it make them? Things along those lines. I actually haven't used it for differential equations yet. I have used it for linear algebra, Calc 3, Calc 2, Calc 1. It's pretty good. So I'm assuming it's fine for this course as well. Civility. Be civil to each other and me. In general, don't be a douche. Don't be good. And avoid causing distractions, don't make noise. Don't get up, move around. This does include arriving late and leaving early, so avoid that as much as possible. Go ahead, David, that's here. Be 3 exams total, worth 45%. The third exam does have to be comprehensive. That is a college policy, that is not a NEET policy. Be several quizzes given throughout the semester, they will be worth 25%. There will be group assignments, they will be worth 15%. Homework journal will be 5%. I'll collect it 3 times throughout the semester, each exam day. This should be a free 5 points. Attendance is going to be worth 5%. You show up every day, you just got a free 5 points, Logan gets a 5. And participation is 5%. Participation is going to be any kind of miscellaneous assignments. And it doesn't fit into one of those categories. And the standard grade breakdown. Didn't mention it. Didn't mention it in Calc 3. It is really easy to fail my class. You just don't do anything. But if you're actually putting in the work, it's generally pretty hard to fail. Like if you're actually making an effort, it's pretty hard to fail. But at the same time, it's going to be really hard to get an A. A means mastery. It means you have to go above and beyond the concepts in class. So there may be test questions that you haven't seen before, but you have the tools to solve it. That's the whole point. Can you take what we get in class and apply it to a new situation? Note-taking tips. Limit how much you write actually during class time. Write down the important information only and use shorthand. When you get home, that is when you then would make detailed notes. All the slides do get posted on sites. They're generally posted that morning that we're going to go over them on the sites page. And I use that file so all the annotations are automatically synced. Also, you should handwrite your notes. Studies suggest that handwriting improves retention. Mathematics is a participation sport, right? You're not really going to learn it by just sitting here and listening. You have to be active in it. So you have to do the problems, maybe redo the problems, watch the videos. Did I say it? Read the textbook. Yes, a misconception is that math doesn't involve reading. That is a lie. Math involves a lot of reading. Again, dare I say it, read proofs. Read them several times. Understand the logic. Understand the flow. When studying, make yourself as comfortable as possible. Right? Don't be in pajamas and fuzzy slippers, laying in bed trying to study. No, your brain's going to go, no, it's time for a nap. And you're not going to retain anything. Also, they suggest you should probably study an hour before bed. Because then that's the last thing that's on your mind before you go to sleep, and so that's what's going through your brain. So you'll be having dreams about it, pleasant dreams. It's math, all pleasant dreams, no nightmares. I've also heard put on background music, very low, very soft background music. You'll think of the song that was playing and remember what you studied, so they say. Do not wait till the last minute to do an assignment. Yes, I realize you're going to ignore this. But you shouldn't wait till the very last minute. If you're struggling, it is best to seek immediate help. And if you fall too far behind, it is extremely difficult to catch up, especially in math. Math builds upon itself. All right, so if you're struggling, there's an order in which you should seek help. You should first seek out your peers. Then possibly tutoring, if the Student Center offers differential equations tutoring. I'm not sure if they do. Then come to me. Again, and I realize that this is going to go unheeded. At the end of the term, do not ask if there's a way to boost your grade. The answer is no. Avoid this by actually doing your assignments on time and seeking help when you need it. So we're going to have a wonderful semester. Fun, math is fun. And funnily enough, differential equations is actually easier than calculus. This is not a terribly difficult course. Most importantly, this rule has to be followed at all times. Have fun. Come on the blackboard. I'm not changing the student view, so Some of these you may not see. Course information, there's going to be a few things. All right, schedule an appointment, that'll just take you right to Calendly. And the important one, Microsoft Sites. This will take you to the Sites page where I share all the documents. Generally speaking, I'm not going to upload a lot of documents onto Blackboard. Okay, so we just click this, it'll bring you to our home page. Just go to Documents. Here you find the syllabus. I'll let you go over that shortly. The in-class worksheets that we do, I'll post the solutions in there. This is where the presentations will be. And again, the syllabus, as I make changes to it, syncs automatically. Let's actually open up the syllabus. Class meeting, okay. Right, course description, outcomes, blah. Again, there's a link to the textbook. Link to Wolfram Cloud site. You need to sign up for free. You just need a free account. Does everything the paid account does, except that the cloud documents delete after a certain amount of time. I think it's 30 or 60 days. But everything else it can do. And so you don't have to worry about paying for an account. And we'll be using this a lot too. There's also a documentation center that I would recommend you take advantage of. Some additional policies, the recordings. I do record every meeting. Camera's up already. These recordings will be posted right onto Sites under the recordings folder. Generally the end of that day, depending on file size and how long it takes to render and all that. At the end of the term, I do reserve the right to make them public by uploading them onto my YouTube channel. I went over that, assessments, quizzes, group assignments, participation, right, college policies. Read through a lot of this on your own. The important one, if you have an accommodation, get that to me ASAP. For extended test time, you will have to take the test in the testing center. And they require appointments. You're going to need at least 3 business days notice. Because they require 3 business days for you to drop it off and for them to prepare it. And so you can't just get an appointment for tomorrow and then tell me and expect it to be ready because it won't be. I'm on campus Monday through Thursday, which means I can drop it off Monday through Thursday. And academic integrity. And at the very end, a tentative course schedule breaks down tentatively what we're going to cover each day and for how long. Each of my topics I tend to do for 100-minute courses. This is a 4-credit course, so it's supposed to be 100 minutes twice a week for 15 weeks. We do have 3, college only gave us 2 recess days. I gave us a 3rd. For my benefit, because I wanted another 5-day weekend. And so, 27th for Memorial Day, the 19th for Juneteenth, and, oh yeah, that's right, that's the online formatting is off. And the 8th for 4th of July. And again, you can see that exams are also listed. Exams will always be the first 100 minutes of a meeting. followed by a 10-minute break. So the first exam is scheduled, of course, right after the second recess, June 24th will be the first exam. Let me go back up because I did forget to mention about the quizzes. All quizzes are online. They will be timed, but you have plenty of time. They'll contain a mixture of question types, fill in the blanks, numeric response, multiple choice, true, false, and open-ended. So for the open-ended questions with the new Blackboard, we switched to Blackboard Ultra, what was it, in the spring? I think it was. I think fall was still the classic Blackboard, which is better. No more file response questions. So I have to make them essay questions. But the essay questions do allow you to upload files. So that's what it'll do for open-ended. There'll be an essay question, you have to upload a file. For the file upload, you have either an image or PDF, one file. And only the response for that particular question. I don't want you to upload a file that has a response for multiple questions on it. I'm not reading through it, so I won't grade it. I would also recommend you check if it's an image that the image can open. So I've had students before submit images that were corrupted and I couldn't open them, which means I can't grade them. PDF is probably your best option. And there's plenty of PDF camera apps for your phone out there. I use Adobe Scan. Again, you will upload your response only for that question. So question 1, I just want the work for question 1. You can do obviously all the questions like a single sheet of paper and then just crop it before you upload it. Okay. That's very easy to do. And you'll be given more than enough time to get them. Also, I will not accept any files sent via email or message. Files sent that way will not be graded. Which means if you're having a problem uploading files, you need to reach out to me quickly. And I should probably also mention, you might want to make sure before you start the quiz that you're in a stable internet environment, because it will be timed. If you lose connection, it will boot you out and will not let you back in. And that will count as your attempt. So again, you'll need to contact me so I can reset it. And then 2 important deadlines. The add drop period for this term ends today. I don't know why for summer they only give you 2 days, but they do. And the withdrawal deadline is the 10th of July. One final comment. The syllabus is an extension of my name. It can change for any reason at any time. I could wake up tomorrow and decide, I'm going to give you an exam on Thursday. So just be aware of that. And the fun thing is I don't even have to tell you I'm changing it. Are there any questions on expectations?
Do you want to have 2 notebooks, one for notes and one for homework?
Homework should definitely be a separate notebook, yes. Whether you keep another notebook for notes is entirely up to you. And composition, again, would probably be the best. Not spiral where the pages easily come out. I think composition notebooks are what? A couple bucks. Probably go on Amazon and get a pack for $5, pack of 6 or something. Speaking of that, first problem set is up there. Oh, it's only 3 questions. That's nice. Yeah, they won't all be that short. But the first topic is pretty simple, so. You'll see very similar format. Agenda where I just copy the relevant meetings from the syllabus. Lecture videos I recorded, oh my gosh, 5 years ago? Something like that. They kind of go over the definitions, the theory behind it, a couple examples. In class, I'm going to spend more time on solving problems than going over the theory. And yes, there are a few mistakes in those videos, but I'll address them in class. I'm currently in the process of rewriting notes, so I'm just not going to redo a video. I'm going to redo the entire batch anyway. And then obviously the homework journal assignments. Any other questions, comments, concerns? I will make comments since it is summer. I do have a medical condition, and the heat makes it worse. So if it's a particularly hot and muggy day, and I walk out and just go, hell no, I can hold the meeting virtually. Because yeah, I'm not risking passing out. It's just not happening. Last summer I didn't have to do that often actually. I think it was only like 2 classes I had to do that. No idea what this one will be like. Hopefully it's the same. But I will send you a message and let you know when that's going to happen. And generally it'll be very early in the morning because I have to take my kids to school in the morning. So I'll walk out and go, yeah, screw this. And come home and just send out a message. One more thing before we finish up the introductions. There we go. The truth about mathematics, and I think I have to turn it up again, don't I? Always pay attention. Look away for a second. All hell broke loose in that 1 second. What we're going to do now, I'm going to let you form your own groups. These groups will stay the same throughout the entire semester. These are the groups that you'll use for your group assignments, for the in-class activities, anything that requires group work. Groups should be size 3 or 4. So go ahead and form your groups. Hoping that should be the same group, but that didn't happen.
I'm Joe. Okay. I need one more.
We have our groups.
Do you guys get a group time?
First participation assignment.
Yeah.
This serves as a kind of review as well. So this is just a prerequisite to the worksheet. This is kind of knowledge I'm expecting you to already know. With one exception, linear algebra was put in here. So if you're familiar with it, great. If not, don't worry about that section. Because we will be going over what I mean to in the course of the class.
Catherine with the C. Wyatt, A.
I'm also going to give you an index card. Please just put the group member names on this index card. And I will form the group on Blackboard at the end of class today.
It doesn't seem like it's gonna be too difficult. It just seems like
So we're going till 2:40. I'll collect the worksheets at that point, give it a 10-minute break, and then we will actually start with differential equations.
Is it able
Yes. So continuing on, we're going to actually start looking at differential equations now, and that's playing again. So how this is generally going to work is the slides will have just kind of go over the important parts from the lecture video. I'm going to include the definitions and theorems. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in class going over them. All right. Then we'll do the problems. Differential equation, already mentioned that, right? Equation involving unknown function and one word its derivatives. Order of the differential equation is the order of the highest derivative that appears. Any differential equation of this form is said to be linear. If it doesn't fit that form, it's nonlinear. And so again, if you've taken linear algebra or discrete math, I think goes over linearity, you already know what form linear takes. So now instead of having like an x or y, whatever, it's derivatives. All right, any function that satisfies the differential equation is called a solution. It's a differential equation. And there is an interval on which solutions are defined. Generally speaking, those intervals are implied. And you can also have an implicit solution if it's of the form multivariate. See, this is why Calc 3 is kind of necessary. So multivariate function g of x comma y equals 0. That would be a implicit solution. Initial value problems. Right, so you have a differential equation and a set of initial values that your function has to take on, and its derivatives. That is an initial value problem or an IVP, and you have initial conditions. What we have to do is, when we solve an initial value problem, we first find its general solution, and a general solution is a family of solutions. You have different constants. Then you just have to solve for those constants for these specific initial conditions. And that's just guaranteeing the existence and uniqueness of a solution. Again, partial derivatives, Calc 3. I think, do I prove? I don't know if I proved that in the video, but I'll let you know that. All right, so this section is going to be broken up into two parts. First is going to be the general definitions, order, is it linear, determine if it's a solution. Then the second part is going to look at initial value problem. So is this a solution to an initial value problem? Or if we know this is a general solution, find the constants that make it a solution to the initial value problem. And direction fields. We'll look at plotting direction fields on Mathematica. That'll be part 2. So in the syllabus you see there's 2 parts to this, so 1 and 2. This is really easy. This stuff starts off really simple. This is all conceptual. They also want dependent versus independent variables. Right, so what is the function we're solving for, and what is it a function of? That. Oh, it's just my stapler, right? Here's. Here, door hole, right? Do I have anything on linear and not linear? I don't. So we're also going to look at these and determine if it's linear or not linear. Even though it's not asking for it, we're going to do it anyway. Right? That's first. Identify the dependent variable. What is the function we're solving for? That's y. The independent variable, y is a function of x in this case. Order, so now we know what the dependent variable is. What's the highest derivative that appears? Second. So this is a second order differential equation. And is it linear? It is. Right, you don't have powers of the derivatives of y. And all of your, let's call them coefficients for lack of a better term, if we think of it as a polynomial, where the order of the derivative is the power of y. All of your coefficients are strictly functions of x. That's what means to be linear. So that was easy. Okay. Some new notation, possibly new. You might be familiar with it if you've been involved with physics. You familiar with the dot notation?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
It's like indicating the amount of derivatives, right?
More specifically, it is a derivative, but with respect to what?
Isn't it like with respect to the direction? Is what
It's time.
Okay.
We use dot notation to mean derivative with respect to time in physics. Right, so y double dot would be second derivative with respect to time of y. Again, just shorthand notation in physics. And now I'll start using shorthand. Dependent variable. What is the function we're solving for? The independent variable. And it's a function of t. And what's the order? The second order. Is this linear? You're right, it is non-linear, but not because of the sign. It's because of the square root of y. Right? Your dependent variable and its derivatives can only have power 1 to be linear. Right? Sine of t is a function of t. It's a function of the independent, so that's fine. That's a coefficient, so that's fine. Dependent, what are we solving for? T. Right, d squared t is the second derivative of t with respect to s. So t is the dependent here. What is it a function of? What's the order? Another second order. Is this linear? Let me go back here real quick just to write down the reason. Square root of y made it non-linear. Is this one linear? And so two conditions that need to be satisfied. Look at your dependent variable and its derivatives. Do they all have power 1? Yes. Okay, so that's fine. All of your coefficients, are they strictly functions of the independent? No. You have st times dt dx. This one is also nonlinear. That term makes it nonlinear.
Because t has a coefficient of s.
No, because the coefficient of dt ds involves t.
Okay.
Right, so it involves the dependent variable already. In order for it to be linear, it has to only be of the independent variable. Dependent variable. What was it? B, yep. Independent is T. What's the order? Why do you say 10? 4. You're not looking at the powers of the differentials, you're looking at the order of the differentials. Is this linear? No. 3 reasons why. The fourth order derivative is being raised to a non-1 power, a non-unitary power. The first derivative is being raised to a non-unitary power. And your constant term is a function of both p and b. It's not 10, but I'm going to combine those terms because that's all technically one term. Even one of those being present makes it nonlinear. Only one thing that would make this less linear. And that was if the 5 and the 7 were also functions of B. What's the dependent? It's X, right? What's the independent?
One.
What's the order?
Second.
Is this linear? Why not?
So, yeah.
This one, yeah, this one is linear. What is our dependent here? What was it?
X.
Yep, it's X, right? What is the independent?
Right.
And the order? This is first order. Is it linear? Why?
Non. Unitary count.
Is that the only reason?
No.
No. I mean, it's a good enough reason, right? If I ask you why, that would be good enough. Why else?
That's good.
I'm going to put it all as one term, the x squared plus 1 being the constant term. What's the dependent? What is the independent? Order?
Third.
It's the third order. And is it linear? Yeah, this is linear. In fact, linear with constant coefficients, we will be solving equations like this. What is our dependent? What is the independent? What is our order?
Third. So it's not.
The fourth order, yeah. Right. Remember, if you have the parentheses, that represents the order of the derivative. Right. So the parentheses around the 4 means that is the fourth derivative of y. That second term is the second derivative of y. Is this linear? Why not?
The non-unitary power going up.
Which one?
The y for fifth.
Yeah, the y to the 5th power. It's not linear. And all of of these were what we call ordinary differential equations, right? Because each dependent variable was a function of only one independent. If they would have multiple independents, that would be a partial differential equation. And so they look exactly the same except using partial derivatives instead. Which if you haven't had calc 3, you have no idea what they look like. You know what? We have 2 questions left, but I think that would be a good thing to just finish up on Thursday and then do the worksheet on just this easy basic stuff. And then we'll we'll start IDPs as well. All right, so again, just basic definitions and examples. This is just all conceptual, fairly straightforward. We're not actually solving anything yet. Questions thus far? And so the important concept right now, I want you to be able to, well, actually all of them are really good, but first, obviously, be able to identify what the dependent variable is. Be able to identify your independent variable. Order is actually not such a huge deal. Really important, being able to determine if it's linear or not. Right? Because for purposes of this course, if it's a higher order than 1 and it's nonlinear, you can't solve it. There are special cases, I think, that we look at where you could convert it to linear and then solve it. We might examine those, but for the most part, if it's nonlinear and it's higher order than 1, you can't solve it. You have to wait until grad school. Okay, so Thursday. It's not going to take me 45 minutes. But the first 45 minutes will be dedicated to finishing this up, and then you have 30 minutes to do the worksheet. As I said, it's not going to take me 45 minutes. So you're going to have a little bit longer to work on that worksheet. Then be a 10-minute break, and then the last, I think it's 15 minutes, would be starting the initial value problems. And again, it's conceptual. That second part is also conceptual, so it should also be pretty straightforward. I'll see you next, not next Thursday. I'll see you Thursday. Except for 2 of you, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. Is it,
It's, so what you want